Welcome to section 2.2, the multiplication property of equality. In the last section, we talked about the addition property of equality, where we could add or subtract the same number to both sides of an equation. This is similar, that we are allowed to multiply or divide both sides of an equation by the same value. Every problem we worked in the last section, we were able to end up with either x equals 3 or negative x equals 3, and we talked about how to switch that. In general, though, we're going to end up with numbers other than a 1 or a negative 1 in front of our x, and this is the property that allows us to do that. In formal terms, if a equals b, then a times c equals b times c, multiplying both sides by the same value. You can also divide both sides by the same value. Okay, and so let's look at a problem here. 2m equals 15. First of all, if there's a number directly in front of your variable, that is an understood multiplication. And remember that multiplication and division are opposites. They undo each other. If I multiply by something by 2, I can undo that by dividing by 2. This is saying there's this unknown number, and somebody multiplied it by 2, and when they divided it by 2, when they multiplied it by 2, they got 15. We are supposed to undo that. We need to find out what this box is. So we undo what they did before. They multiplied, so we divide. 2 divided by 2 is 1. That's now a 1m. If I divide this by 2, I need to divide this by a 2. You will often get fractions as answers. This answer is 15 halves. Now, in MyMathLab, you will have a blank where you are supposed to type in your answer. Often, in blue, near the blank, they will tell you to enter your answer as a reduced fraction, a mixed number, a decimal. You need to pay attention to how they want that answer given. Most of the time, they're going to want a reduced fraction. 15 halves is a perfectly good answer. In fact, fractions are usually better than decimals because fractions are always exact. They need to be in lowest terms, meaning that you can't divide the top and the bottom by the same value and make it smaller. If I had gotten 30 over 4, that would not be correct because I could divide both of them by 2 and go back to 15 halves. So ignore that right now. You also don't want to go to a mixed number unless you're asked to. Mixed numbers are easier to understand, in our brains what the value is, but they're much harder to work with. So most of the time, we're going to be leaving these in improper fraction form. They just need to be in lowest terms. Okay, so this answer is 15 halves. 5k equal to negative 70. Somebody multiplied by 5. We need to undo that, so we divide by 5. Divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 gives me a 1. And we're looking for a positive 1. 1k is just k equal to negative 70 divided by 5. Negative 70 divided by 5 is negative 14. Your answer is negative 14. Remember when you're using a scientific calculator that the negative button is usually different than your subtraction button? And if I had entered minus, it won't even let me do it. It takes the last answer. Let's see if I clear it, and if I hit minus, it still takes the last answer. But if I hit negative, it allows me to enter the negative 70. Okay? Negative 8x is equal to negative 64. Now, I want to get a positive 1 in front of this x. So I need to divide by the same number, negative 8 here and negative 8 here. So if I divide by negative 8 here, that's going to give me a positive 1, which is what I'm looking for. I divided by negative 8, I need to divide by negative 8 again. Now, this does confuse a lot of people. With addition and subtraction, we use the opposite sign. And we used the opposite sign because we were trying to create a 0, because adding 0 to something doesn't change anything. Here we're trying to create a positive 1, and that's because a positive 1 times something doesn't change anything. This is another one of the examples where we have addition and subtraction rules that are different from the multiplication and division rules. Here we match the sign because we want to make it a positive 1. Negative 64 divided by a negative 8 is a positive 8. This answer is 8. Okay, let's try one here where we need to simplify it before we go on. This side can be simplified because they are like terms. We're not moving anything across the equal sign, so we're not worrying about changing any signs. We just subtract the 3r minus 5r. 3 minus 5 is a negative 2. R is equal to 10. Now this side is completely simplified. I have a negative 2 times my mystery number. So to undo a negative 2 times something, I'm going to divide by that negative 2. This gives me a positive 1r equal to 10 divided by a negative 2 would be a negative 5. Negative 5 is your answer. Now we haven't talked about how to check one like this, so let me go ahead and take this and plug it in here so we can see the check. That's 3 times negative 5 minus 5 times negative 5. And I hope that when I do that arithmetic, I get a positive 10. Remember your order of operations, you need to do your multiplications first. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, minus 5 times negative 5, that's negative 25, equal to 10. This is negative 15 minus a negative 25 is the same thing as plus a positive 25. And then negative 15 plus 25 is 10. So this checks out.